In this video, I am going to provide you with 3 different methods that you might be able to use to move a sink to another location. And the first thing I want to point out is that if you do have a crawl space, you can probably tie into the existing plumbing underneath the house. And this is going to save you a lot of grief. So if I want to move a sink over to here or even over to here, I can simply extend the length of this pipe and then put my sink wherever I want to, or tie into this pipe and put a sink over here or over here. However, that will not be the case if I have a concrete building foundation, where it's going to be a little more difficult to install the plumbing because I'm probably going to need to remove some of the concrete so that I can get access to the drain pipes. And an example of that would be if I wanted to move the sink over to here, then I could tie into this pipe, and that would look something like this. I would simply put a combo sweep fitting over here, and in our example here I have a 4-inch pipe that would require a 4x4, and I'm going to go ahead and run an 1.5 inch or a 2-inch line. I like to run a 2-inch line for something like this. However, you can run an 1.5 inch line for that. And you can see right here where we needed to remove some of the concrete footing so that we can install our new drain pipe. And I was wrong. I ran a 2-inch line here, and then I'm going to stub out to a fitting that's going to come out 1.5 inches and then go up 1.5 inches for the vent. So I actually did this how I would do it if I was going to connect something like this to a new sink. And again, you can see here where you're going to have to cut the concrete slab. You're going to have to do some digging. You're going to have to remove some soil and then backfill all of it with fill material. So you can get a pretty good idea what's involved in our first example. And in our next example, we are not going to cut the concrete slab like we did previously because we're not going to be tying into this line here. We're going to tie into the outside line with another combo sweep fitting, again coming off 2 inches here and sloping the pipe 1/4 inch per foot in this direction so that the waste will drain in this direction. And then we're going to come up over here with a long fitting or a sweep 90 up to a couple of 45s. And the position of this right here might be able to be a little higher, might need to be a little lower. And of course you can see here where you will need to remove some of the concrete foundation to install your new pipe with a clean out. And even though I didn't have a clean out on the other one, it wouldn't be a bad idea to put one in. However, that might not be a code issue. As long as you can take apart the trap and get a drain cleaning snake line in from this direction, you might not need a clean out. And of course, now would be a good time to point out to always check with your local building codes to verify all of the information in my videos and definitely other people's videos. And of course, the main reason why I'm making this video is because I tried to explain all of this to one of our viewers who was having a difficult time figuring it out. So hopefully this video isn't too late, because they wanted to come off of the trap arm here and run a pipe up against the wall. Then they were going to fur out the wall to cover the pipe until I pointed out that they would need a 4-inch diameter trap arm for something like this to work. And if I add the length of the pipe I'm going to need, it comes to about 13 feet. And according to some of the building codes, if it was 12 feet or less, I could have used a 3-inch pipe here. And I do have another video that I will put a link to that video in the video description box to figure out the diameter of the pipe for the length that you need to travel to install a longer trap arm, if this is what you're going to do. And in this example here, I have a trap arm that is now a little over 13 feet long to connect my new sink to the existing plumbing. Now keep in mind, I'm not allowed to do this without using a 4-inch diameter pipe here. And I also need to point out that if I do decide to do something like this and install a 4-inch pipe here, and I also need to point out that if you are going to use a 4-inch diameter pipe here for your trap arm, that you will also need to remove all of the pipes here. The 4-inch diameter pipeline, drain line, will need to go all the way down to this drain line here. I will need a 4-inch drain pipe coming up all the way up to here, because I'm not allowed to have a larger diameter pipe drain into a smaller diameter pipe in a situation like this. And now for my grand finale here, and even though I've never seen this done, I don't see why it wouldn't work. However, if you have any building codes that would suggest something like this will not work, feel free to share those with us in the comment area. So again, I'm not 100% sure this would work. And I would also like to point out that since you are going to be sloping this pipe, it will actually be going up 1/4 inch per foot. And if it does, something like this would be raised about 3 1/4 to 3.5 inches. And that could be a little too high for the sink trap. If that's the case, you're going to need to lower this connection right here. So another problem you could run into. Now here's my fix on this, and that would be to come off of here with a long 90 or a sweep. We're going to use 1.5 or 2-inch pipe here. We can't use 2-inch pipe if this pipe right here is 1.5 inches. However, if the pipe right here is 2 inches, we can come up here 2 inches and then bring a 2-inch pipe all the way around and up to our clean out. Right above the clean out, we can switch it to 1.5 inches or just leave it at 2 inches. So some long 90s coming around here to a combo fitting where we're going to come out with our 1.5 inch pipe, providing us with a trap arm here, a drain line here, and a vent coming up and out of the roof. So let's just go ahead and take a closer look here at what I'm talking about. And like I said, if there's some reason why we can't do this, feel free to share it with us in the comment area. And again, something like this might not be feasible, especially if one of the other methods is going to be a little easier. However, you could see where something like this might work on a 3 or a 4-story building where you're not going to be able to connect to anything else but right here. So let us know what you think in the comment area. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comment area, and I will try to answer those as soon as possible.